Hello everybody and welcome back once again to Let's Play Tyranny. We start today's session here once again at Ironhearth, about to go and speak with Graven Ashe to report our success at Duskwatch, I think it was called. But before we do go any further, we have a missive here from Fatebinder Myothis. In the last session we asked, I think it's a her, about the other Archons, I seem to recall. Calvina, this is a sort of question that can get you killed. Very little is known about how Archons are born or come to power, and my long life has taught me that Kairos and the Archons prefer it this way. If the young and talented remain forever in the dark, the old and mighty can rule without challenge. I heard of Ashe, he will always be merely Ashe to me, before Kairos renamed him and gave his legion that backhanded title. As a rebel, a grimy, illiterate partisan who was winning battles while his countrymen of the Northern Kingdom lost left and right. Ashe was a good leader, but he wasn't born able to mystically reach out and protect his soldiers. The earliest mention of it isn't even until the tail end of the Northern Conquest, and if you read the journals, they don't tell stories of grievous harm warded off by Ashe's stern looks. Instead, they talk of his soldiers finding their fears and doubts lifted from them by Ashe's presence. A careful reading suggests the ability to actively protect physical harm came years later, as that bond grew, and more importantly, as his legend grew. That legend part is the key detail. In my understanding, an Archon's power is something of a self-fulfilling prophecy. The widespread perception of an Archon's power is the very thing that strengthens an Archon's power. So in Ashe's case, he had some early inkling of a power, the ability to assuage the burdens of his men, and as he took on a mantle of power and became known all around Tyratus as the next Archon of War, it soon became the ability to bear the physical burdens of his men, not just their fears and doubts. Thus, my advice to you is to act like an Archon. Take power where you can find it. Foster fear, foster love, and never walk through life anonymously, but rather live in the thoughts of your followers and the anxieties of your enemies. Ooh. Interesting. Okay. Act like an Archon, Calvina. I'm sure she'll take to that like a duck to water. Let's find out a little bit more about this Bleeden Mark, shall we? Dear Myothis, your wisdom on the matter is greatly appreciated. You made mention of Bleeden Mark and his killings. During my training, Fatebinder Callio hinted that much of Bleeden Mark's work involves killing off threats before they blossom into genuine problems. So it's curious to hear you second that fact. So, let's say for the sake of argument, I am some Archon. Is it just a matter of time until Bleeden Mark is sent to kill me? Should I be making grand displays of loyalty to the court to assuage his suspicions? Signed, Calvina. Excellent. Right. So while that little birdie's flying in the air, let's go and take a look, shall we? Up here and see what Ashe has to say. Fatebinder, it's good of you to report in. These days, it is difficult enough to judge friend from foe. I am pleased to recognize you as the former of the two. I see you brought the voices of Nerat's spying whore to my doorstep. Lest you think me amused by your irresponsible conduct, know that I am not. We brought her last time, he didn't bat an eyelid. What's his problem now? Yes. She is proven to be a useful ally. That is as much as you need to know. At least until we get tired of each other. Don't worry, old man. I'm not going to drive a blade into your spine. Not while you're wearing a breastplate as thick as the old walls, anyway. Graven Ashe glares at Verse and returns his severe expression back to you. His mouth is set to a disapproving line, and he seems on the brink of saying more, but waves off the matter. After what transpired at Vendrian's Well, the disfavoured must hold fast to our allies. You are here because of your support at the siege, but I don't mistake your confidence for devotion. The Scarlet Chorus would not have you. Kind of strange he's bringing this up now. He should have brought this up the first time we spoke with him here. But anyway, yes, indeed, Calvina expressing that she answers to Tunen, and by her reckoning, any squabbles between Ashe and the Voices, well, it's not under our concern, and certainly none of his. Other than to get to the bottom of it, of course. If he stood above them, then he could see well enough how the Voices of Narat has conspired against our forces since the beginning. No. For all his claims of objectivity, I have my suspicions that your adjudicator is as compromised by this war as any of us. What is it you require? I almost feel that we should just turn on our heels and leave. But, no. Calvina explaining the latest developments. I am pleased to hear of your progress. Rust Canyon was once a verdant pass for travellers and one of many choke points on the way to Sentinel's Stand. Now it's merely a garbage heap infested by rebellion. Yes, well, I have happened to confirm that Amelia's unit was taken by Stradus Herodin's troops. Damn that corrupt inbred of a regent. If his death were not required to end the Edict of Storms, I would take pleasure in breaking him on the rack myself. I was devastated when Amelia's cohort vanished. Her father's dread is not so different from a general's, and in my case I am twice cursed to suffer the pain of her absence. I still feel her presence. It's grown stronger even, so I know that she lives, but I fear for her safety all the same. Yes. We know that the leader of the Unbroken is called Matthias. Matthias. I have not come across his name, but yours is the most recent intelligence we've dredged from the region, so I can well believe that it's true. Whatever he calls himself, this upstart should be killed, to set an example for his would-be army. Should you come across him, I expect his head to topple from his shoulders in good order. And also, the Unbroken are seeking artifacts. That does make sense. With no means to kill Stradus Herodin from outside of Sentinel's Stand, the only chance of breaching the wind wall would be through an artifact's power. The trouble is, the number of artifacts scattered about the realm is anyone's guess, and I couldn't tell you which of them could get the job done. If these rebels are committed to the task, it's possible they know something more. I believe it was the custom of each of the regents to travel with some artifact in their possession. With all but one of their polluted bloodline killed during the conquest, the Unbroken are likely seeking a corpse among thousands. A fool's errand, but not an ignoble one. I received word that my disfavoured have cleared a path to Rust Canyons that should prevent any rebels from entering or leaving the area. You should make contact with Theodore, the lieutenant in charge of the attack. He will guide you from there. All right. So we have reported back, and now we should travel to Rust Canyons to meet with Theodore, commander of the disfavored forces in that particular area, and find out what lies is next in store for us. But before we do that, we're going to take the opportunity, perhaps just to have a little rest up in camp here. Perhaps just pulling up alongside this fire here, sitting by the benches. You don't mind us, do you? Osmia? Of course not. And just resting up. There's a few wounds to tend to. And whilst we're waiting for said wounds to be tended to, let's take the opportunity to converse with some of our party again. It's an opportunity, a bit downtime. I know there's an Edict of Storms to lift and Archon's daughter to rescue, but hey, we all need a break at some point, you know? So we haven't spoken properly with Barrick yet, so let's see what he has to say.
My Lord Binder, you have something which requires my attention? What can I do for you?
Yes, let's take a wee look here. Now we could revisit this, because I think we might have gained reputation with both of him and Verse since we last did that, so we might finish on that. But, first of all, let's see if he's got anything to say about any developments recently. Let us speak of something else. No. First of all, yeah, getting a handle on what he thinks of the current circumstances. The Overlord will not stand for civil war between the Archons. I would like to think that Tunon would broker peace between the two, but there is too much hostility between Graven Ashe and the voices of Nerat. We are not powerless to help the situation. We can try to find ways to stop the voices of Nerat or discredit him in the Overlord's eyes. If the voices were eliminated, the chorus would collapse and the infighting would cease. Okay. And since we are now kind of in conversation with Myothis, Fatebinder Myothis, and exploring this Archon situation, just perhaps getting a handle on what people think of us and our deeds. We're told to kind of play on people's fears and, our reputation in their eyes could fuel our power. So maybe testing the water here. The disfavored hold you in high regard. The Legion is wary of letting outsiders bury our refuse, much less fight among our ranks. So take the compliment for what it's worth. Filthy outsider. Any reservations I have aside, your military record speaks for itself. You are Tunan's Fatebinder, and my opinions on the matter don't come into it one way or another. I hope he wasn't calling us a filthy outsider. Surely not. That would not go down well at all. Right. Let's just speak of something else now, asking a bit more about him. I am the line your enemies cannot cross. All of the details are meaningless, but I suspect you have some thirst for details, so ask away. Alright, so I'll start with a story with this armour. It's pertinent to the area, because this is where it happened pretty much, so let's get a bit more about that.
It is a symbol of Kairos' will, one that I am not likely to forget. I found this armor. Perhaps it would be better to say that it found me during the Edict of Storms.
Yes, asking what happened. When we heard that Kairos would proclaim the edict, we rushed into the field to battle the forces of Stalwart. I was shoulder to shoulder with some of the Legion's most decorated veterans, and my pride blinded me to the danger. Our march was a hasty one. A cohort of disfavoured soldiers vanished in the second year of the war, among them the daughter of Graven Ashe. After a long silence, we learned that she was held in the fortress of Sentinel's Stand. As we surrounded the citadel, I heard the opening peals of thunder, as did the scout I was busy trying to kill. Then the winds hit like an avalanche. Many of us begged Kairos for deliverance. What else were we to do? The winds knocked the legs off our offensive. knocked the legs of our offensive out from under us. All the decorated soldiers I brought to the battle were swept up and dashed to pieces, their armour and bodies mixing with the dirt of a tornado that spun in maddening revolutions. Damn thing chooses this moment to go dry, and with so few survivors to recount the edict. Bah. Trying to chronicle the tale here is Lantry. A piece of the citadel wall broke off and nearly crushed my skull. I only remember a few scattered moments from the storm, like the flying bits of bronze and iron cutting my flesh, the severed limbs of fallen soldiers tumbling through the air. Eventually, I woke up thinking myself trapped under rubble. When I rose and felt like I was buckling under my own weight, that's when I realized I was stuck. Right and truly stuck inside this heap of scrap. Okay. Yeah. How on earth did you survive when everyone else fell around you? That is a mystery to me as well. Did Kairos hear my plea for mercy? Did this heap of scrap metal protect me, imprison me, punish me? I don't have enough fingers or toes to count the possible reasons, so I try not to dwell on them. Okay. Asking a bit more about Ashe's daughter, what happened exactly after the edict hit? She was trapped behind the walls of Sentinel's Stand, imprisoned by Kairos' storm as well as the fortress itself. 1,000 soldiers standing shoulder to shoulder could not have endured those winds to rescue her. I mean, do you handle your own repairs to this armour? I try to keep the surface oiled to slow the spreading rust, and I bend the plates from time to time, but repairs? Maintenance? No. If you have any ideas how to better maintain this situation, I'm open to discussing them. Well, it just looked like pretty solid protection, at least. That would be an understatement, if only it protected me from foolish questions. Yeah, we won't ask if he's tried taking it off, because that really would be a foolish question. Okay, tell me about your name. Does it really... Well, I don't think she's interested in his name so much. Okay, I think that's probably as much as she wants to speak of right now. But yeah. Would you like to discuss removing your armour?
Though we are encouraged to couple and mate within the Legion, I don't consider you one of my cohorts. I think I'll decline.
What? Yes, that was not what I was talking about.
You weren't? Forgive me, it's been some time since anyone made an advance. I'm long out of practice, as you can see. Suffice it to say, my armor and I will not be separated for the time being. When the war is over, perhaps Tunon will lend me one of his forge-bound. Until then, here I remain. My armor saved me from the destruction of Stalwart, where thousands of others lost their lives. So you can see why I continue to wear it. For the time being, we will not be separated.
Ah, okay. So we got some more questioning about the armor here. Are you comfortable in there? Yeah. Do you even want it removed? Well, he seems like he does want it removed because he just talked about the forge bound. But it is rusting apparently. So this is We anticipate finishing what we have to finish before it completely rusts over. But hey, let's just what time scale are we working with here? The armour hasn't shown any signs of weakening, and my maintenance regimen is all that keeps it from rusting solid. Were I to stop applying oil and give in to entropy, this shell would harden to a degree that no Forge Master has ever seen. I think it could well stand for as long as the old walls, with my skeleton peeking out from the depths, and someday not even that. Now isn't that a cheery thought? Tell me about what you can and can't do. I suppose. Yeah. I mean, he's done everything we've asked so far. He can fight in it. That's as much as we need, really. But any limitations that we should be aware of? Ah! How do you vacate your bowels? Well, we've been travelling for so long, we should probably be aware of how he does it. Unless he's been very, very secretive. How do you take pleasure from life? How do you fare in water? Not very well. This is for my interest, really. Manage poorly. Oh dear, right, okay, well, I think we'll leave that be for now. Right, yeah, let's see if they're going to be willing to work together now.
The thought has crossed my mind.
The big guy here is as useless as an empty scabbard without his phalanx to keep him alive, but I move fast enough to compensate for it. If you want to attach some arcane
In the disfavored ranks, the Oathbound seem to know more about synchronizing their efforts. And the same could be argued for the Scarlet Fury. Absolutely not.
I'm inclined to agree. If you want to pair up fighters, there has to be some great passion or magnetism between them. We don't have it.
Right, okay, so we tried this bluff thing last time. It didn't work because of the nature of the loyalty between us and them, but now it's pretty much, well, one away from max, so this should now work, I reckon. So
now see here, Versus temperament and unpredictable ways are an annoyance, but no challenge is beyond my skill. Verse, we should take some time to face off in the sparring fields. It might even improve our disposition towards one another.
I'd rather watch you devour your armor one shaved off spoonful at a time. But since that isn't going to happen anytime soon, I suppose I'll make an effort.
Excellent. So they're going to... gained a new combo ability. Arrow Storm unlocked. Excellent. Excellent indeed. So where would that be? Iron Storm, Death from Above, Iron Tolling, Quicken. Would it be under their individual? Arrow Storm. Yeah, look, there it is. Look at that. Okay, we'll have to remember to use that. Okay, so a bit of conversation with old Barrick there, as far as we want to converse for now, which means it's now time for us to get ourselves moving, because we got more things to do. People to see, Archon's daughters to rescue and all that. The life of a Fatebinder is never dull and never straightforward. Okay, let's go. Duskwatch? No. Rust Canyons? Yes.
Bronze scrap is all that's left of the Unbroken caught in the storm. Where you see iron, disfavored that died with them.
This looks rather grim. Holy cow. Immersed into these rocks are the iron trappings of soldiers killed by Kairos' edict. Magical winds sheared away all flesh, leaving behind only rusting armour and weaponry. Oh gosh. Resolute blade. An unbroken soldier struggles to rise to his feet. One arrow lodged in his shoulder, the other in his thigh. He attempts to stand, but his muscles are too weak for the task. Well, we're not going to offer our sympathies here, our concerns. The soldier lacks the strength, but none of the conviction as he fights to move in spite of his wounds. He's powerless to scramble away as a disfavored officer approaches from the west. Buff. A disfavoured soldier calmly approaches from the west. He regards the vulnerable southerner with a curled lip and a disapproving shake of his head. Weak and broken. Prisoners make for poor sport. Your escape was spirited, but damned foolish. He raises his sword and points it at the unbroken man's heart, poised to let it plunge and impale him to the filth-strewn ground. Yes, well, let them crack on with what they need to crack on with. We have bigger fish to fry. In one swift motion, he plunges his sword into the man's heart, pinning the fallen soldier to the rusted earth. The disfavoured soldier turns to the unbroken camp, frustration evident in his tone. Then his gaze shifts over to you and back to the walls. I have reinforcements now, Elia. If you open the gates, I can still make this easy on you. He passes you a knowing glance that suggests he's lying and proud of it. You see a woman stride purposely into view atop a platform along the wall's edge. She lifts a spear and hurls it at Theodore, cursing under her breath when it breaks against the rocks. I am so fucking tired of listening to you. Go shriek at someone else's fortress for a change. And stop trying to impress me by hunting down unarmed prisoners. Maybe the ladies of the north get shivery over your bravado, but all it tells me is that your codpiece is emptier than your skull. Dear, 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 what on earth have we stumbled into? Make no mistake, Elia, you would be better served as my camp slave than as my enemy. Such a waste of good potential. Fatebinder, let's consult when you have a moment. Let's consult. Oh, we should consult shortly. Ooh! Another bow. And some iron gauntlets. We've literally just picked up her new bow. Is this one better now? Better DPS. Better accuracy, but a little bit slower on the recovery. Okay, am I comparing... Start again, shall we, and compare it to the right weapon? Right, so this short bow has better DPS, better accuracy, better recovery, less range and less armor penetration though. So it's a more damaging, accurate and quicker bow. It's more of a hunting bow. This is probably more of a war bow really. Okay. Both can serve a purpose depending on the nature of the enemy. Enemies more heavy armoured, war bow. Less armoured, perhaps the other bow would be better, just getting them down quicker.
Seems others have tried to take this fort and failed. Repeatedly.
We could go to the west and speak with the disfavoured, or we could actually come here first and speak with the enemy, which I think we might actually. Okay, maybe not. Let's just get the intelligence first from the disfavoured commander. Would prefer to parley with the enemy with all the facts. Ooh.
See that?
Okay, let's just back down to the gates. Okay, so there's a couple of prisoners here as well. What's this? Okay. Who goes there? Oh, it's you, Fatebinder. I wish you didn't have to witness that crude exchange before. Elia and her lot have caused me no lack of trouble. You are most welcome here, even if your loyalties fall with the court more than the Legion. We need all the help we can get. Ashe sent word to expect you. If he dispatched an outsider to help us in the field, that says something about his urgency to see these Unbroken conquered, for good. I think we can both appreciate that his interest in seeing this matter resolved is of a personal nature. I apologise for that outsider remark. Some of us aren't accustomed to working with anyone but the Legion proper. Yes, well, shall we focus instead on the task at hand? I'll be happy to leave this place in my tracks. Something about the wind seems to carry all the worst of the stink and refuse to this corners of Stalwart. Ashe says the Unbroken are scavenging the Blade Grave for an old Stalwart heirloom. I can think of nothing else that would help us breach Sentinel stand short of the Regent's timely death. They're not making it easy by holding themselves up behind walls. The conquest is any evidence Stalwart folk are less inclined toward facing their enemies in open battle. The Tearsmen are like rats, squeezing themselves behind the narrowest walls to avoid the inevitable. No matter what they find here, the Unbroken are trapped. North of camp, we have soldiers led by my subordinate, Jacomus. To the south, reinforcements march as we speak. Still, I would appreciate any help you can offer. The sooner we claim that Unbroken artifact, the sooner we reach Sentinel's stand. Okay, asking for, first of all, information about the enemy. They built a fortified camp due east of here, and another group holds a choke point to the southeast. Though calling it a camp gives the Unbroken too much credit. It says Scavenger's Warren, garbage fortifications that our enemies have managed to defend through dumb luck. No longer. Today it falls. Yeah, and any word from Sentinel's stand? There seems to be more of a scout presence outside the wind wall. Unbroken, disfavoured, everyone is on edge, waiting for something to happen. We'll have to hold our breath a little longer before we can uncork the old keep. Once we track down the Stalwart artifact, it'll be a mad scramble as everyone races to claim Sentinel stand first. But any new information? Not as such. We have every reason to assume that Stratus Herodin hasn't committed suicide yet, and we're hopeful that Ashe's daughter is in fair condition. I only hope that her father's protection is keeping her spirits high. Okay, and what do you know about artifacts in general? Aside from wishing I had a few to my name. They're weapons and items powerful enough to change the tide of any battle. I couldn't speak to their nature or how they're responsible for such storied deeds, but I have no reason to doubt what they can do. The word coming down the line is that an artifact can breach Sentinel's stand. You'll hear no complaints from me. That fortress has stood unchallenged for too long. With your help, I have little doubt it'll wear disfavoured banners before long. Right. Well, how exactly can I help here? My men are eager for battle, and we wouldn't mind taking the Unbroken camp in advance of our reinforcements. That'll show the old 15th cohort. Hey, boys? You may want to clear out a group of the Unbroken by the bridge to the southeast. They guard another entrance into the camp. Some of our men are being held captive there, and we need the extra numbers on our side to hold these canyons. Now, strictly speaking, my orders are to wait for reinforcements, so I can't directly assist you. But once we secure the camp, you get first pick of the spoils and a chance to interrogate their leader, Elia. Deal? Indeed we do, but we should keep our cards close to our chest. Very well, I shall get to work. Glad to hear it. I would go after the Unbroken stationed at the Eastern Bridge first. Take control of the Unbroken camp. Ooh, okay, it's time for action. In a second. There could
See
be...
that pen over there? The prisoners within are dressed in Unbroken colors.
Indeed, well spotted. Need some cast-off iron? Maybe a few teeth for a necklace for your special someone? The scavengers do the gathering and then I take it from there. Profitable work if you can manage it. Pillaged iron? Scavenged bones, you say? There are laws governing mercantile wares, and you seem to be conveniently ignoring them. If the disfavored are so well off that they can ignore my wares, they're free to do so. As it is, Kairos' army needs all the help they can get, and a friend of means is a friend indeed. If some misplaced morals stand in your way, feel free to buy elsewhere. We can actually ask for a donation. No. We are in the middle of a war, and we shall overlook this slight. In times of war, there are concessions to be had. But I'm just at least putting her on notice that we're quite aware that what she's doing is a little bit on the shady side. Let's see, first of all, is there anything worth our time here? Not a damn thing. I was tempted to ask for a donation now, but we don't generally tend to fleece people. Right, okay. Let's get to work, shall we? Eastern Bridge. First port of call. Wow. We're going inside somehow, and then commencing a massacre, apparently. There is usually more than one way to skin a cat. What do we have here? Aren't you the one who fucked over Agathon at Duskwatch? We have nothing to say to one another. Either you're Graven Ashe's favourite comfort soldier, or you just like to see honest folk die. Either way, you're a pile of beast shit to me. No matter what happens here, the Unbroken will take back Sentinel's stand and banish all you northern piss-troughs from the tiers. I'd rather die than see Stalwart under Kairos' sigil. You can't imagine what I'd do to avoid it. So we're not... We need to get into Sentinel's stand, right? So we need... Of course, these people are standing against Kairos' rule, so they really do need to be dealt with whilst we are here, I suppose. My presence here should come as no surprise, given you are standing in defiance of Kairos' rule. Clueless lapdog. Of course I expected Kairos to dispatch someone eventually. The Overlord isn't in the habit of making appearances. You seem smart enough to realise that the Overlord's wrath kills servant and foe alike. Why you aren't smart enough to do anything about it is a mystery to me. Yes, well, Calvina, as per usual, giving one chance to surrender. If that is not taken, there will be no second chances. Your threat is of no consequence. I'm willing to die for our cause and have no delusions of my importance. Whether I fall today or 10 seasons from now, our nation will live on. I already know that the disfavored are looking for artifacts of Stalwart. I also know that they're searching blind. I'll take my knowledge to the grave if it keeps you out of Sentinel's stand. You can count on that. Oh, looks like she's readying an attack here. You have obviously made your choice. I will return. Oh, don't leave me to wonder, you simpering 3-ring upright. Could go through the front gates if we wished. Possibly. But no, we won't be going through the front gates, not at all. Should be going by the Eastern Bridge. Right here. Like it said to do. So if we cross the bridge, I'm assuming that's at that point it becomes... they become hostile. Yeah. I'm thinking so. Oh, hang on. Furl your sails, stranger. This bridge marks the beginning of unbroken territory. Kairos' forces already tried to best us. They got this far. I know you for what you are, Northerner. I never met a woman or a man from Kairos' domain who didn't try to invite my countrymen into the fold. I'll give you this chance to leave. Otherwise, I'm prepared to give my life defending this bridge, meagre though it may seem. What do you want with us? This is going to end in violence, but hey, why not get some answers? How long have you been fighting Kairos' forces? Long enough to have sons twice at least. After the storm, I thought Kairos would be satisfied with our pain, but the Overlord still finds reason to kick us. We know these canyons like the back of our shields, and we're not going to allow a bunch of pig-headed, ironclad jackanapes chase us away. It takes a special sort to outlast a siege or a long campaign. Stalwart-born folk like myself have it by the wagon load. And what exactly is past this bridge? Nothing the likes of you would be interested in. If you're about to ask, well, why are you defending it? Then don't bother. We've got provisions, equipment, and unbroken soldiers. Reason enough. Right. Most die for their family, others die for a bridge. I think the simple fact that we're just going to walk past here is going to be enough cause to attack here. Okay, let's just open the show on the road, shall we? Okay, let's go.
Send them at me in waves.
Oof. Rust bomb. Right, okay. Oh, this is bad news. We may have a bit of a stray. Dual wield. Here we go. Is he stunned or something? What's wrong with him? Not a clue. Right, okay, let's I'm getting a little bit lost here. Right, let's go. Here goes nothing. Frost fire bolts, anybody? Yeah, why not? And then follow that up with a concussive bolt. And then maybe with one of these. Oh yes.
Damn thing couldn't pierce.
And then some lightning too. Yes.
Bleed out, you little shit.
And Trey just taking a little bit of a nap. Okay, we need to oh, I've got new spells and I forgot to put them on my hotbar. Right, okay. We've got concussive. I've got False Pit. It should prone him. Stop him from hitting verse. If it actually hit, of course, which it didn't, which is lovely. Flesh to Stone. That actually is a... I have to get these hotkeyed properly. Chance to Petrify. Right. Come back. Not you. Okay. Switch to bow, and let's finish this off.
Blood spills.
See that? That's intact.
And that is us past the bridge. Ah. Good. And we have disfavored here.
Fatebinder, there are prisoners in that pit over there.
Oh. They are prisoners. We shall have to help them out then, won't we? Something to take back for the forge.
Will do.
Well, can we release these prisoners somehow? You there! The unbroken dogs left us here to bleed and rot. Help us, please! Okay. We have information, valuable information, not only to the disfavored. Give us our freedom and we will tell you all we know. Yes, indeed. Let's make a lever out of one of those spears. And with that, we get them out. Here, take this key. We acquired it from a scavenger and there's some stash north of here. When we tortured him, he said something about a pile of rocks near a banner. A pile of rocks near a banner? Not that, was it? I've already found that. Must be something else. Okay, so about 50 minutes in, and we now have an access route into this camp from the eastern side, which might be a little bit better than going through the front doors here. So, yeah. In the next session, folks, we shall enter this camp and clear it of Unbroken, and hopefully get a chance to parley with Elia, with her on her knees begging for mercy. I doubt she's going to beg for mercy, she's going to be defiant to the bitter end, but hey, we'll take a little bit of satisfaction in having defeated her forces. But until next time, see you soon.